Everyone, hope you're doing well and staying safe. Today's topic is about how the pathogen is recognized by the immune system, discussing the theories behind recognition of immune system for pathogens that we acquire on daily basis. For our new viewers, don't forget to subscribe, like, and share to stay updated with every single video we download on our channel. Today's table of content will discuss the theories behind pathogen breaching, especially it's an essential topic behind immunity against pathogens that's really essential to keep an eye on, and hopefully it will inspire you for future discoveries. Start with, there was the following three theories are the main and most popular, starting with the side chain theory. In the early 90s, scientists claimed that on our cell we have several receptors, and when the pathogen or the antigen want to bind to that receptor on the cell, will bind to the most that fits in, and that receptor will proliferate on the same cell, which means there is no proliferation of the cell including that receptor. However, in the same cell, the receptor will proliferate in order to bind all the pathogens all in one cell. But after some studies reaching out to the 1930s, instructional theory scientists weren't convinced by the fact that all the receptors proliferate on the same cell, which is at some point makes sense. However, they claimed that antigen exists prior to the antibody, which means the antibody isn't already present on cells, and the antigen, when it's inside our body, will bind to the most fitting in antibody. However, they do think that the receptor is variable. According to the antigen binding to it, it will fold itself at some point to fit that specific antigen. And then this cell will proliferate with that specific receptor. To be honest, the part of proliferation, including copies of the fit receptor, it do make sense, but with some modifications done by clonal selection scientists in the 1950s, going deep into the right and the reason behind proliferation and generation of memory cells by clonal selection theory. Let's discuss the clonal selection theory. It all starts with the antigen binding to a receptor. When the antigen fits to that specific receptor, there will be a formation of clones, identical clones of that cell. Those clones will be the activated B cell. That B cell will bind to specific antigen and give rise to plasma cells that will release free antibodies into the bloodstream, and cells that contain receptors on the surface, but that receptor isn't soluble, which means won't be released into the blood. The cells that don't release soluble antibodies are called memory cells. However, plasma cells are way more big than memory cells, and they release soluble antibodies. That's just for clarification. However, this activated B cell will generate plasma cells, will release soluble antibodies into the bloodstream that will last about 15 days to 2 months at maximum, and memory cells will be just in our body. If we encounter that specific pathogen in the future, they will be released and speed up the process of fighting that pathogen as soon as possible. For that reason, if you realize after having, for example, a specific infection second time, you feel like you get sick earlier, and some people suggest, I don't have immunity against it. In the contrary, it's because of the immunity. Instead of your body waiting about 15 days or 7 days to generate immunity against it, already you have memory cells for that specific pathogen, so the body on spot will start to fight it and cure you from that specific pathogen. And this is all about the clonal selection theory. A cell will proliferate and they produce plasma cells and memory cells for future infections, and the plasma cells just as due to a recent infection and to fight on-spot pathogens. And by this, we'll end today's video. Hope you make it easy and simple. Thank you for your time. Don't forget to subscribe, like, and share for more amazing